St. Patrick's Day 2019 with Tullamore Dew and Innis Gunn. Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Happy St. Patrick's Day! Mark here from Whiskey Whistle, your wise choice in independent whiskey and spirits reviews, bringing you Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey and Innis Gunn, the Tullamore Dew edition for 2019's St. Patrick's Day. Now we're going to open up that beer first. This is 6.1%. It's barrel aged stout, so that's pretty cool. Beautiful green box, lots to say on there. Of course, they've used Tullamore Dew casks in the making of this one. Now, it's a stout, it's also barrel aged, it's also 6.1%. So when you do drink these types of whiskeys, barrel aged stout, you don't have to make them so cold. Probably about 15, 12, 10 degrees would be good. All right, let's get that poured. So we'll start with the beer and then we'll open up that Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey and then we'll taste it. Okay, whoa. Had to do that. Let's get it all in there. Can we? My wife will kill me if I get that on the carpet. Okay. Set that right there. Well, now that is a very nice, just a slightly dry, nicely malty, heavy stout, and it's not very sweet. At least the foam isn't. So let's see. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think there's any sugar added in there at all. Beautiful. Nice stout. Definitely nice stout. Does not taste like 6.1%. That really tastes like 4.5 or 5%. You know, your typical, you know, regular beer stout kind of a percentage. All right. Anyway, all right. So that was the Innis Gunn Tullamore Dew edition. So now let's open up that one. Can you see that there? Tullamore Dew, brand new bottle. Let's open that up. Okay. Not my favorite. Okay, there we go. Now, personally, I usually like to leave a little bit of that around there, but I may have to take it off to see how it is. Yeah, that's good. No, we're good. Okay, so perfect. All right, now this is 40% ABV, and this is Tullamore Dew Distillery. Yes, they have their own distillery now since 2014. That was when the spirits began flowing at the distillery. So this could be up to about 5 years old, and probably more like 4. And it's a blend. It's a blend of 3 different types of whiskey. It's a blend of pot still Irish whiskey. It's a blend of malt Irish whiskey, and it's a blend of grain Irish whiskey from Middleton Distillery. All right, let's get that poured and do it backwards. If you watched my videos before, you'll notice I'm using the wrong hand. And I can do that because I'm kind of ambidextrous. I like to say that anyway. All right. Now, first of all, let's check out the color. Pretty much your standard color, isn't it? That straight up amber hue. Maybe a little bit on the darker side, so about amber +1. Probably some color added there. Color, that's that E150A. You can read about it if you haven't heard of it before. And next we'll check out the legs. After that, we'll look at the nose, the palate, and the finish for Tullamore Dew. And then maybe we'll add a little bit more to that stout, because I really want to make that stout taste like Tullamore Dew. Right now, take one more little sip. Not a lot of, there's nice, very nice oaky scents in there, but there's really no Tullamore Dew scents in there. Oh, and this actually has pretty nice legs, I can already see. Okay. Let's check those legs out. Fairly brisk Irish legs. Yep, they are a walking quickly there. But they are very showy. You can still see they're nicely separated. So it'll have an average, possibly slightly to the plus in terms of mouthfeel. All right. Now, so that's 4 to 5 years old. And the grain whiskey, probably 3, could be 4 years old. I don't think they'd use much older than that because this is $27 in Canada, in Winnipeg, Canada. That's where I am. By the way, make sure you check out WINNIPEGGWhiskeyClub.com. You can check that out on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or the website. That's going to be starting up this month, the 27th of March, actually. And, well, ooh, nice. Before we get into that one, I'll just tell you very quickly about the next review, and that's going to be this one, Laphroaig 18, on loan from a very good friend of mine. So, again, pretty nice legs. Let's check out the nose now, shall we? Again, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm really happy to be in Canada for St. Patrick's Day for the first time in about 13 years. So that's going to be exciting. What'll I do? I have a birthday party tomorrow night. Maybe we can do something afterwards. But might have to go out with my wife on Sunday, and so she can see what all the brouhaha is about. All right, so the nose. Distinct Irish whiskey scents. Something very fresh, a little bit green, like a forest green scent. There's a hint of vanilla in there. A little bit of lime, interestingly, like a sweet lime. And very light herbals. It's certainly very fresh. Hint of sweetness, not a very sweet nose. A little bit fruity. Slightly citrusy. So that's the nose. Now then, let's check out the palate, shall we? Cheers, everybody. It actually does coat the mouth very nicely. I have a feeling they're using mostly their pot still, which is triple distilled. Maybe the malt also, which is triple distilled. Now, on the bottle it says triple distilled, but of course the grain whiskey wouldn't be triple distilled. That is distilled in a continuous column still. So there aren't any number of distillations because that just happens continuously. Anyway, so mostly triple distilled, and then you have that grain whiskey added as well. And the same would be true for, I believe, Jameson and pretty much every other entry-level Irish whiskey. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is there an entry-level Irish whiskey that is only single pot still? All right. I guess single pot still they call it. I don't know why I said pot twice there. Okay, let's get back into that palate. Cheers again. So I'm getting a vanilla custard, which is really nice, with some herbals thrown in there. A touch of ginger. Very, very light cinnamon, almost no cinnamon. And it's not too dry, very lightly dry. Less so on the beginning of the palate though. Vanilla custard, some, well, like fresh pine nuts. And pine needles. Maybe some other green herbs there, fresh ones, but very minimal. Mostly that, just that nice vanilla custard and a little bit of citrus. Now, as I'm tasting this for the first time, I'm getting the finish quickly as well. So the finish is a little bit drier than the palate, and the vanilla custard fades away kind of quickly, leaving you with those light, fresh herbals to carry on out of the finish as the event ends. And I've still got that bit of dryness in my mouth, but basically the flavors have left. Not especially a long finish. I would probably describe it as a short finish, but it is a nice short finish. One more taste here. Yeah, vanilla custard with a bit of citrus and those green herbal flavors, the pine nuts, fresh pine nuts, pine needles, forest, freshness, and that finish does well up until about 2 or 3 seconds, then it drops off, leaving you just with that nice dry freshness in your mouth. Very fresh, very nice whiskey. This is very easy to drink and a welcome change from other basic Irish whiskies. I haven't done too many of them. I will try to do more this year, next year. I'm trying to really warm up to all of the Irish whiskies, but it's a very different category for me. I guess that would have been the last category that I started to get into. Canadian, that was the first whiskey I had, and then some blended Scotch whiskey, and then single malt from early mid-90s all the way till about 2014, 2015, trying blends again, and bourbon, and Japanese whiskey, and Taiwanese, etc., etc., and a little bit of Irish, not very much, so that needs to be rectified. Feel free to leave me any suggestions on absolute, what can I say, required Irish whiskey bottles for an Irish whiskey flavor education. Please do let me know. Okay, final taste here. And as I'm tasting this, I am reminded a lot of even some of the single malts of Ireland. So I do wonder if they have a little bit of triple distilled Irish single malt in there. Now I'm going to add just a couple drops of water here. One. There. Oops. Oh, that was 3. Oh well. Okay, so 3 drops of water added there. Not very much. Again, it's 40% ABV. Pretty much ideal sipping strength if you want to sip it neat. And yes, this would do very well with a big chunky ice cube added. Preferably one big solid large cube, or ideally a round cube. Why round? They actually melt slower, And there is a very cool video on how to make clear ice cubes, thanks to my friend Daniel at Whiskey Throttle. So I'll put that in the comments for you as well. If you do like it with ice, please do try it with a large piece of ice, ideally a ball, but a cube would be fine. Best of all, if it's absolutely clear ice. Clear ice melts more slowly, and well, it's more elegant. So that's great, right? It's getting sweeter and sweeter as time passes. So that water added a touch of sweetness to the nose. And in the beginning, I mentioned that the nose wasn't especially sweet. So much sweeter now. Now the palate with water added again. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Cheers, everybody. To my palate, it's creamier. Also, more flavors are coming in. Something like a toffee or a coffee toffee, like a mocha. We'll leave it at a dark toffee, but maybe a couple little grains of instant coffee added to that that sugary mixture as they make the toffee. You know, it's really nice, and there's a I think I do prefer this to Jameson. I would have to try them head to head. I'll do that one day. That's one of my favorite things to do on video, is to compare whiskeys, compare two of the same brand, and I'll start doing two of comparable brands very soon. And if you're wondering what that scratchy noise is, that's my dog Rocky. Would you stop scratching? Rocky, you get to bed. Psst. Go on, get to bed. Thank goodness. All right, now let's get back to that beer. Oh, should I? Yeah, I guess I should do that. We'll talk about the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score first for Tullamore Dew. All right, folks, let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Tullamore Dew. What's that going to be? It's going to be 82 out of 100. Yep, you heard right. 82 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey from William Grant & Sons. Well, very nice stuff. Now, let's get back into that beer very briefly. Again, a stout and higher proof, higher ABV beer, and barrel aged, barrel conditioned, bottle conditioned. These things should tell you, don't drink them ice cold. Let them reach, I want to say, yeah, no more than 15 degrees for the ideal event to happen. Now, this is probably about 10 by now. And you really get that big, chocolatey, malty, roasted scent coming through. And I really like Innis Gunn. That's a Scottish brewery. They're doing great things there. And I have I guess it's actually, no, it's a bottle conditioned. So that means yeast added before bottling. So that means the yeast continues to act over time in the bottle. So I bought two. One of them opened, probably opened it too early. And then I wrote in the package, this beer will age well. So now it's aging. So we'll try that maybe sometime in the winter. But Innis Gunn, yeah, they're doing lovely things. And this is a very unique experiment. And a great thing to combine Scotch beer with an Irish sort of flavor. All right, anyway, one more taste here. This is just delicious. Sometimes you try you know, the 6%, 7%, 8% beers, and they can all be very overpowering with alcohol, and sometimes they're very sweet because sugar has been added to increase alcohol. I don't think they've added any extra sugar here, or if they have, the yeast has completely eaten up all of that sugar and just left a little bit of extra alcohol that seems to really meld very well. And since they put it in a barrel, that will help to marry those two sorts of things happening: the natural fermented beer and then the added sugar alcohol put together in a barrel. And this is what you get, and it's very nice. Now I want to add a little bit more Tullamore Dew. Now, would there be Tullamore Dew in here? Sure there would. And I would expect that when they put that beer into the barrels, if the barrels are fresh, then the alcohol percentage of the beer will increase in the beginning. Of course, over time it'll decrease. So that'd be interesting to hear how it went in and how it came out, and if they tested it along the way. Okay, so I'm just going to add a tiny little bit. And we'll see how we do. It just brings a sweetness about the beer. So I guess I'm making a boilermaker here. Typically a drink just to get drunk, but you know what? They do that in Korea, and they use the soju to add flavor to Korean beer. And here as well, it's adding some missing sweetness. Not that, for me, I liked it as it was, but some people might like a little bit of extra sweetness in their stout. So let's see here. Just a bit creamier, and that sweetness sort of balances the bitterness of this stout. So good. I would say don't add too much. Do not put in a whole ounce. Just maybe 1/3 of an ounce or so. Well, I guess I should give a beer score. All right, so the WhiskyWhistle beer score for Innis Gunn, Kindreed Spirits, Tullamore Dew, Irish Whiskey Aged Stout, Irish Whiskey Barrel Aged Irish Whiskey Barrel Aged Stout at 6.1% ABV. What's that going to be? That is going to be 87 out of 100. Yep, you heard it, 87 for this Irish Whiskey Barrel Aged Stout from Innis Gunn. And a combination, a partnership with Tullamore Dew. Did you see that there? All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's it for this WhiskyWhistle. Stay tuned for the next one. Again, that's Lefroy. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you get notifications, whether that's by email, pardon me, or whether that is a bell, a badge on your iPhone. That'll help you keep abreast of what's happening here on the channel. And if you are a big WhiskyWhistle fan, anybody, then why not check out Patreon, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. There will be a link at the end of the video and another right about now. So do check that out, please. And we'll see you very soon. Again, Winnipeggers, check that out, WinnipegWhiskeyClub.com. All right, take care, everybody. Goodbye now. Thanks for watching WhiskyWhistle. Be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.